Hey there, this is Daryl Ballard, and I wanted to talk to you in this video about the law of prosperity. If you were searching online, if you're watching this video, I imagine you were searching for the law of prosperity, maybe the law of success, the law of abundance, things like that. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. You're in the right place. We're going to talk about the law of prosperity, which produces abundance and success. Okay, so let's start out with, what do the studies tell us about successful, prosperous people? If we take 100 people, and this is sort of a summary of the studies, not citing any specific one, but if we take 100 people at age 25, they all want to be, they all expect to be successful. They all expect to be prosperous. But when we look at them again at age 65, we see 1 who is wealthy, 4 who are financially independent. There's probably going to be about 5 of them that are still working. And if we subtract the rest, there's about 54 that are pretty much dead broke. Why does this happen? What is it that causes this? Well, the answer really seems to be that we conform. We want to do what's right. We want to do what's best for us, but we conform rather than doing the things that the very successful do, which may not be exceptionally hard, but you have to stick with it. We don't. We tend to conform. We know this because when we ask people why they go to work, what is the answer you're going to get? Well, you probably get something as specific as, well, I go to work because everybody else goes to work, or I have to go to work to pay the bills, or something of that nature. There's no thought about goals or really why they're doing what they're doing. So basically 19 out of 20 of us has no idea why we're doing what we're doing. So we can see that really the difference between that 5% and the 95% comes down to goals. That 5% has sat down and thought about in a concrete way what they want to do, what they want to become, and that's really the definition of success. I like to use Earl Nightingale's definition, and he says, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So we sit down and make goals for ourselves, probably write them down, and they have some time limits on them. We want to do this by such and such a time. And if we continue to think about that and try to reach that goal, we will. If we don't even have goals, we're obviously not going to reach something that we didn't even set as a goal. So what is the key then? Well, the key is having goals. If we have a clearly defined goal that we are going after, we generally achieve it. If we don't set any goals, or at least not clear, well-defined goals, we achieve basically nothing but the status quo, conformity. But let's be a little more specific. Why do those with goals succeed when those without them don't? Well, it has to do with what we think about. That's what Earl Nightingale said about that. We become what we think about. That was his secret that he talked about in The Strangest Secret. And it kind of makes sense. A person who is thinking about a concrete and worthwhile goal is generally going to achieve that goal. The opposite of that being the person who doesn't know what they want to do, hasn't set goals, whose thoughts are probably fear and anxiety and frustration and, all of those types of things, is going to have a life of frustration, anxiety, and fear. And We probably all know people like that. Probably 95% of our friends are like that. Well, maybe 94. We almost all know someone who thinks about basically nothing. And what do they become? Well, they become nothing as well. So a person who has goals, spends time thinking about those, becomes what they want to, what they set as their goal, what they want to become. A person who doesn't is thinking about things that take them in the wrong direction, in a negative direction. Okay, so let's look at some of the statements of some of the philosophers and great thinkers of many ages. Let's look at those. I'm just going to read through some of those for you because I think they're fascinating. Okay, let's start with Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. And Disraeli said, everything comes if a man will only wait. I have brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a man is what he thinks about all day long. William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. In the Bible it says, if you can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. That was actually a statement of Jesus, according to the Bible. Norman Vincent Peale says, if you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. William Shakespeare said, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. George Bernard Shaw said, people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are those who get up and look for the circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, make them. Brian Tracy, more recent example of a philosopher, success speaker. You become what you think about most of the time. And Earl Nightingale, you become what you continually think about. Wayne Dyer said, you become what you think about all day long, and those days eventually become your lifetime. And even Ronald Reagan said something similar. My philosophy of life is that if we make up our mind what we are going to make of our lives, then work hard toward that goal, we never lose. Somehow, we win out. So you see, it was pretty much unanimous agreement on the fact that we are what we think about. So how do you do that? Well, just a few steps that I want to suggest. I would suggest that you sit down and think about that goal, come up with a good, concrete goal, the thing that you want more than anything else. Think about that, write it down, put it in words. The second thing you should do, put that on a card and laminate the card. You may even want to carry it around with you. You probably should, because the hard part is controlling the thoughts of our mind. It's so easy to get caught up in the little annoying or even big annoying things that happen to us during the day that we forget about it and we become negative, and all of a sudden we're not spending our time thinking about what we want to accomplish. The important part of this is we want our conscious mind thinking about it, but even more important than that, we want our subconscious mind working on it. And if we let those negative thoughts creep in, it's not going to work. So we have to control our thoughts. So carry that card around with you. Check it out every few minutes or every few hours during the day. Or if you start to have some negative thoughts, pull out that card and look at it. Another thing that I think is really important is writing down that goal. Keep a notebook or write it on your tablet, but actually write it. Don't just think about it, don't just type it. You actually need to be somehow putting it on paper. Makes a big difference. And electronically on paper is fine. I do that quite a bit. And then also write down, and do this at least once a day, write down the things that as you achieve this goal that you're going to have. Put them in very positive but present tense statements, even if you're not there yet, so that you can picture and feel and let your subconscious mind begin to feel and picture what it's going to be like when you have achieved that goal. Okay, so those are the 3 steps that I would suggest for beginning to change your mind, for thinking positively, for getting your mind to think about what you want to be so that you can become what you think about. Okay, so what do you think about that? Give me some comments below. Tell me what you think. If you've liked the video, give me some thumbs up, or even better than that, if you know somebody who this could help, share it with them. Definitely, we have all kinds of videos on this topic, as well as developing a business and so on this channel, so consider subscribing to the channel if it's something that you're interested in. And as I always mention, the 4-day course that I have, that first link below, is how you can have your own successful 6-figure online business. All right, so this is Daryl Ballard. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you on the next video.